All right. Thank you guys for coming on to our Tuesday workshop here at OverPower Marketing. Love to see all the new faces. And today we do have a very special guest speaker for this call. Let me do a short little introduction about him. Billy is a business advisor, speaker, and the founder of Chiro Candy, a multiple seven-figure marketing agency dedicated to helping chiropractors scale their businesses to the next level. He's also the author of The Blessed Entrepreneur, where he focuses on helping business owners solve high-value, expensive problems. He's a multiple recipient of the Two Comma Club Award, recognizing over 1 million in online sales, and has been featured in major outlets like Forbes, ABC, CBS, and Fox. Billy has shared his expertise on stages and podcasts around the world, helping business owners turn their vision into scalable success. Let's give a warm welcome to Billy Sticker. Thank you, Billy, for hopping on this call. Really glad to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
All right. So the reason why we wanted you on this call is just to give your expertise on how you have helped other businesses, including your own, succeed and grow substantially to these seven-figure agencies or even higher in some situation as well.
Well, I think for all business owners, we all solve a problem, right? That's what business is. It's not confusing. One of the things I talk about in the Blessed Entrepreneur book is if you want to make money, solve problems. If you want to make good money, solve expensive problems. If you want to make great money, solve expensive problems for wealthy people. But really, that is business. It's that simple. What problems can you solve? And today, it's unbelievable how many marketing messages or how many decisions we have to make or we're faced with in a day compared to what our families did 100 years ago, even just 50 years ago. Because of social media, it's even more messages, right? Everybody's trying to advertise to get your attention, to get your client's attention, to get them distracted, to, hey, look over here, come buy my stuff. We'll help you solve whatever problem it is. So one, you have to be really good at your messaging. You have to be very, very clear on who it is that your ICP is, right? Who is your ideal client? There's a saying, I don't even know who exactly came up with this, but our job is to enter the conversation our customers are already having in their head, right? What are the things that they're thinking, and how can you enter that conversation? And sometimes it's things that they don't even know that they're thinking. Okay. Here's an example. Chiro Candy. We do marketing for chiropractors. And I know now you may think on the surface level, the biggest problem they have is they want new patients. Yes. But not necessarily. A lot of them, like, I had a call with somebody just a couple of weeks ago. It was my third call to have with them, and I'm very, very hesitant to work with this person because they've been in practice for 30 years. 30 years is a long time.
Yeah.
They should be an average chiropractic office is going to see about 150 patients a week. That's one of the KPIs that they track, is what's their weekly patient volume. He's seen around 25. Okay, that's not a marketing problem. If you've been in business for 30 years and you're only seeing 4 to 5 people a day, like, that's crazy. There's something else going on there. So that's not our ideal client. But with him, it's like, okay, I don't want to attract that kind of person. He heard me speak at an event. We were in Vegas, and I spoke at a big chiropractic event there. And he's really been trying to get me to do business with him. I don't know. There's this saying, I don't know if you guys have ever heard it. You want to be careful doing business with somebody that's bleeding from the head, right? Unless you're an emergency room. When your clients are really, really struggling, sometimes it's not a problem that you can solve. But anyway, with him, new patients isn't necessarily going to solve his issues. Like you may think, and he thinks that's what he needs is new patients. But after 30 years, there's a reason he's not seeing more people, right? So one of the things that we did whenever AI first really came out, just let's say 18 months ago, 2 years ago, is we used AI to do a deep dive into our ICP. Who is our ideal clients? Looking at all the thousands of people we've worked with, the people that are getting the best results, that have been with us the longest, the happiest, what makes them different. And we really kind of dug in here. And what we discovered is that one of the conversations that a lot of our market was having in their head was they wanted, because one of our main services is Facebook ads.
Mhm.
Now we do full service now, but for the longest it was just Facebook and Google ads. And the problem is a lot of these businesses had tried it before, and sometimes they got success, sometimes they didn't, and they just got frustrated. So then they go to a different agency. Same thing. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't. Then they go to another one. Then they go to another one. And then now they're just frustrated. Should I even give up on Facebook ads? Maybe somebody else is going to have a better strategy, but what if they don't? What if I waste this money again? But I need to be doing something because the guy down the street is doing something. So it's just this inner conflict of I need to be doing something, but I've tried it before and it's just not working. And they're just frustrated. So that was one of the conversations that we wanted to enter. The conversations we wanted to continue. It's like, look, does this sound like it describes you? And a lot of people are like, oh my goodness, yes. And what we realized after working with over 2,000 offices, the offices that had the most success weren't the ones chasing leads. They were the ones that had built trust. And so now what we say, this really kind of switched our marketing message, is your marketing should do three things. And this applies to every single one of you listening to this. Number one, your marketing has to build trust. All of your messaging, everything you do, that should be the first filter that you're thinking. Is this building trust? So we kind of frame it as like, that's the overarching umbrella that we want. Is this building trust? And then underneath that umbrella, you have getting known. So let's just use a chiropractor as an example. What can they do to be known? Well, this is a local business. So they could be doing things in the community. They could be involved in BNI groups or the Chamber of Commerce. They could be doing farmers markets and health fairs and community workshops, in-office workshops, just doing things to get known. Well, they can also now be using Facebook and Instagram, right, and YouTube, doing some videos, some educational content that speaks to the questions, right, speaks to the comments and the thoughts that their ideal patients are already thinking. They could be using social media to get known in their community. Now, they may not have the time to go out to do all these events and do these workshops. Maybe they have the time, but what we found is the longer they've been in practice, the less they want to go do those things. So it's like, well, how do you leverage social media to go do all these things? And it's just, you take this content and you take the content and you flood your market with it. And then Facebook and Instagram, they allow us to retarget people that have watched percentages of the other video. And then we show them another video and another video and another video. And we want to create this environment where every time somebody turns around, they're seeing this office again. Because what that does is that does two of the three things we want marketing to do. It helps build trust, helps get them known. So we can use Facebook to do two of the three things. And then the third thing that your marketing needs to do is you need to be found. So even if somebody sees you on social media, right, and you're building some trust, they see your content, they like your content, whether you're in real estate and you're doing stuff on, what to look for when you're buying a new home, or, what it's like to live in this area, whatever content you're doing that's building trust, people are then going to start looking you up. Are you being found? Right? So what do you do to be found? Well, you need to be doing Google Ads, SEO, AI search, your local, local SEO? Are you on your Google business profile? Is that optimized and things like that? So you want to be found also. The good thing about YouTube is you're doing content on YouTube, and that kind of does all three. It helps you get known, helps you build trust, and helps you be found because it's YouTube, and a lot of people are searching, and YouTube tends to do really well with search engine stuff. So those are kind of the three key things that we want marketing to do: build trust, get you known, and then get you found. So when we switched our marketing as an agency from, hey, let us help you get new patients, to, look, we've worked with thousands of offices, and here's the key thing that we found makes the biggest difference, is you've got to build trust. The ones who are just crushing it in practice are building trust in their community. And what I did is, when we switched from Facebook ads to going full service, so we do Facebook and Google. We've been doing TikTok ads for a long time also. But now we do SEO, we do custom websites, we do just all the different things. We even do streaming TV ads and things. Well, I wanted to get creative, right? I wanted to do a training for our clients, but what's the creative hook? I don't want to say, hey, we're now full service. I mean, that's not a very attractive webinar title, So spend some time in prayer and just really kind of thinking and going back and forth. And I had this download of an idea, and we titled the training 12 Ways to Get New Patients Without Using Facebook. And it was a fantastic hook because it spoke to the thoughts that our ideal clients were already having, right? These doctors are like, I don't even want to be using Facebook. I've tried it. It doesn't always work. So that was already this filter that they were just looking at all their marketing through, is I don't even like Facebook. So when I came along with an ad that said, hey, here's 12 ways that you can get new patients without using Facebook, we were getting leads where normally people, we were paying $30 on average per lead if somebody signed up for one of our trainings. It dropped to about $6 a lead whenever we did this, because that hook was so strong. And not only did we show them 12 ways, in the training, I actually covered 20 different things they can do to get patients outside of Facebook ads. So it was tons and tons and tons of value. And then I still showed them why Facebook and Instagram, when it's done right, can, get them the results that they want, and then use case studies and all this stuff. Well, we ended up, like, Q1 of this year was our biggest quarter in almost 2 years. And it was because we switched our messaging. We went we did that, but now it also makes our clients stickier, because they're understanding they're just not trying to get new patients with Facebook. They're trying to build this machine where they're building trust in their community, getting known, and then also doing all the work that it takes to be found when people do start looking them up on social media and now AI and things like that. So, let me share this with you. This is something, whenever a new client signs up with us, we send out this. Oh, you know what? I'm not sharing. Let me switch this. Oh, is this backwards?
No, it's right.
You can see it right. Okay. Because the way for my screen is showing it backwards. Okay. So this is something we cover on our sales calls with all of our clients. And then we also send it in our welcome boxes when a new client signs up. This is in a brochure, because we want them to know, like, this, it's so important. And it doesn't matter what you do in business. And even, I know some of you might have an agency, but a lot of you could just be a local mom and pop service business or whatever. This is still very, very important. What are you doing to build trust? We do some great things with Google Maps, getting people listed in the top 3 on their Google rankings. But here's a problem. Just because you get in the top 3, okay, if you're looking for, we'll stick with chiropractors because that's what we've been talking about. If I'm looking for a chiropractor near me, and then the Google Maps pops up, right? The top 3 are listed next to the maps. One, it's great that's step number 1 is you've got to get listed in there. I think that's one of the most valuable pieces of real estate for any local business is getting found in that your map pack. But what's the first thing people do when they see you or when they see these listings? They see who has the most reviews.
Yep.
Because it all goes back to trust. And Amazon, I think that they've done a fantastic job with this on the Amazon reviews. Even if I'm going to buy a product locally, I may want to get it at Target or something, but if I'm there, I'll look on Amazon. I don't care if it's more money me getting it at Target. I'm pulling up Amazon because I want to see the reviews. Like, what are other people saying about this, about this product? Well, it's the same way with a local business. Your reviews are very important. So what we do is, we have this listed on here, building trust, making you known, and helping you get found. And all of our services do fall under these categories, right? They're going to help you build trust, get known, get found. And so that's how we want to package our stuff, is all the things go towards that. And then here on the bottom, this is something else that's very, very good. Let me see. I should have had the book sitting out. I think it's, I've got bookcases in here. We've just built a podcast studio upstairs, and I may have it up there, but, Oren, you're probably familiar with this, the Breakthrough Advertising by Eugene Schwartz. It's a very, very popular book in the advertising world. It was actually written back in the 1960s. But if you go to Amazon and looked up Breakthrough Advertising, you're going to pay anywhere between $300 and $500 if you can find a copy of this book. It's a fantastic book. Like it's almost like the advertising Bible, even for these big, companies in New York that do marketing and advertising and stuff. You don't have to buy the book. This is the core principle he talks about in the book is this different levels of awareness. No matter what product or service you have, there's a huge percentage of your target audience that are simply unaware, right? They're unaware they need to go to a chiropractor. They think chiropractic is neck pain and back pain. They don't realize that it's about this wellness lifestyle, or they don't think they need a realtor. They think that they should be able to just buy a house on their own or sell their house on their own they're just unaware of all the benefits or whatever it may be. They're just unaware. And then there's another layer of these people are problem aware, right? Going back to chiropractic, they're actually having some back pain. They're having some headaches. They're having some sciatic issues. All of a sudden they're aware of the problem. Then they're solution aware. Then they're product aware, and then they're most aware. Well, one of the reasons somebody that calls from Google is such a higher value client is because they're at the bottom of this funnel. They're most aware. They're already aware of the problem. They're aware of the solution. They're looking for a provider for this service. So they've already gone through all these different levels of awareness. So that's where Google Ads and SEO and all that stuff is so, so important, because it allows you to attract some of the most valuable people in your market are the ones looking for your services, because they've already gone through all this. But what about all the other people in your market? Well, this is where doing that content, doing what you can to build trust and get known in your community, you're taking people through these different levels of awareness, right? You're making them aware of who you are, of what you do, why you do it, how you do it, what the problems is, what the problem is that you solve, what happens if they have this problem and they don't get it solved. There's all kinds of different content that you can be making that should be taking people from unaware to problem aware, solution aware, product aware, all the way down here, right? So this is just a great graph for you to keep in mind. And this really works hand in hand with everything else, right? You've got to be building trust. You've got to be known in your community. Grant Cardone, I think he's the one that said the best known beats best. You can be the best in your area, in your profession, but if nobody knows you, they're going to go with the best known, not necessarily the best. So what do you do to become the best known, right? Do what you can to be building trust, get known. And then when people are looking for your services, what are you doing to get found? So I feel like I kind of rambled a lot, but really being able to take those three key pillars of what we want all of our marketing to do. And when you frame that inside of the different levels of awareness, it really helps us paint a clear picture of what our messaging needs to be to our ideal market. Or if you're a marketing agency, how can you package your services to your ideal clients in this way? And we've seen it just make a huge impact, like I was saying, not just for our agency, but even for our clients whenever you kind of frame things this way. So I hope that's been helpful. I feel like I did kind of ramble a bit, but if you guys have any questions or whatever, and you want to talk about this, we can dive more into it.
So we need to get found.
I actually do have a question. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I know Google is very important. I'm in real estate in the state of Florida, which is, like being a water droplet in a hurricane. But there's a lot of, I was just looking up what you're talking about on Google. There's probably 20 or 30 paid sponsorships, and they're ranked by their Google reviews.
Right.
So I know that's extremely important. How else also, because I know our agencies and our national associations are getting bigger on AEO as well, which is, I'm barely scratching the surface of understanding it myself. But how do you see that impacting? Do you see that overshadowing Google, or you just see it as a complementary? It's a if and or both and?
I think probably both and. Studies show that AEO is benefiting from really, really solid SEO. You still have to have that. It's got to be framed a little bit different and stuff now. We're seeing, even though the necessarily searches haven't gone down, we're seeing less clicks. So sometimes people are still searching you and they want to look you up, but they may not be clicking on the ad. They may not be going straight to your, straight to the website, but they're still researching to find out all they can about you. So whatever you can do to get found on all these different things, you definitely need to be doing. But it does come back to really good SEO. I think that it was, a matter of fact, Jeff, Orrin, and I were all at an event. Was that in January?
Yeah, January.
And they were talking about how people are going to use, whether it's ChatGPT or something else, are going to be using that as their GPS for their life. When we were at, for those of you who were on earlier, at the very beginning, heard me talk about, we were just in Europe for a couple of weeks for our 30th wedding anniversary. And my wife had planned out the whole trip. Most of it was done through AI. Where we want to go, where we're going to stay at, what we're going to do at each place. But even still, it was, she was getting on ChatGPT saying, hey, we're at this hotel. We're looking for a pizza restaurant close by. Like, she wasn't even going to Google. She was just doing that and was saying, oh yeah, walk outside and 50 meters to the right, you'll find, this pizza place or whatever it was. But our whole trip, she's like whispering to her phone, I was like, what are you doing? And she goes, well, I'm just finding out if it does end up raining, what should we, do instead of what we were going to do or whatever. And it's just like this companion people are using. So I do think it's important that, that you're aware and that you do have good SEO and whatever you need to be doing to build,
Yeah, because I asked that question because it's almost AI has kind of supplanted the Googling in our lives. You know what I mean? Because I use it.
It really
I mean,
has.
I use ChatGPT voice to do walkthroughs on houses to make notes for showings, that automatically then sends an email. I use Notebook LM for all of my contracts, for all the listing paperwork. I just throw it all in there and say, make a 3-minute video explaining this to my clients before they sign. I don't even use Google much anymore. So I don't know how and here's the weird thing is our Pensacola, I was looking them up, Pensacola realtors, there's, I've got too many windows open. There are like 30 of them, but the top guy, it only has 1,000 reviews, and it's a team, real estate team. So they don't even have, considering this town, that's not a lot of, and it's an exact number, which is suspicious to me. But I wonder how many people are using ChatGPT to go, hey, who's the top realtor? I need to recommend 10 top realtors for me in Pensacola. And I know a lot of that's coming from, they're pulling that from Google and other sites and things like that. But I just was wondering how intentional we need to be and how we can impact maybe that in any way. Because we use it for our other business. My wife got 2 contracts today for our other business because she talked to ChatGPT last night and put it in her criteria of who she should have a meeting with today and go and drop by and see, and walk away with 2. With 2. So it changes the way we do everything. I'm just wondering if Google is gaggled.
No, I definitely think. It's still important. And we're still definitely doing things with it. We're still getting results. Like we still have a lot of clients that do well with Google ads. But it is something that we have to be aware. Like people are going to be doing what's most convenient.
Sure.
Right. We used to have all these different, like back in the 1900s, we had all these different search engines. Right? Was it Dogpile, like all these other ones? And then I remember somebody saying, "Oh, have you heard about Google, something like that?" And then all of a sudden, that was it, right? Well, then you had Yahoo and AOL, kind of.
Bing,
yeah, but it was mainly just Google. They just dominated, and even today, Google is so good at what they do. They have so much data. They're doing everything to be involved, like in a lot of their cloud storage and some other things that they're rolling out. Like they're not necessarily going away. People are just searching differently. So it is important. I don't know enough about real estate to really know what you can be doing to get found, other than I would ask ChatGPT. I would ask Claude, hey, I'm in real estate. I'm in Pensacola. What do I need to do to be prepared for, and be showing up and ranking more in AI search and things like that? So
I think our only struggle, not only take up the whole time. I think a lot of our struggle is we have to load up SEO. So one thing I'm building on my website are 45 neighborhood landing pages, so that anybody searches, I'm looking for a home here, it'll increase the likelihood. But as far as like Google reviews, guys do 1,000 transactions in a career, and this guy's got 1,000, reviews. So I know this is friends, family, or paid for. That's really hard to do in the services,
Right. But then also think of how many
does maybe 10 a year.
But to me, and maybe it'll be different, if a lot of times I'm not necessarily looking up a realtor.
Mm-hmm.
I'm either getting one referred to me or whatever.
That's 98% of our business. Yeah.
So that's not to say that it's not important, because you're going to have a couple of people that do look you up. There's a guy named Jeff Jones who is in the Mobile, Alabama area. He used to be the drummer for Big Daddy Weave, that Christian group. I don't know if you've ever heard of Big Daddy Weave, but we've been friends for years. And he got into real estate, and I thought he was going to be like a real estate investor. He's no, I actually got my license and went to work for like a Keller. Is it Keller Williams? Yeah. he started a YouTube channel, and I think it's called Living in Mobile, something like that. And it's he's good on video, but it's like, hey, if you're wondering about what it's like to live in Mobile, let me tell you where you're going to find your best fried chicken. Where are you going to find this? If you're looking for a cleaner, and it's just all these short videos about what to do in the area, what it's like living there, the best places to do X, Y, Z. But when people are looking to move to that area, they're looking up what it's like to live in this area, what it's like. And he became like, he's typically every single month in the top 2 to 3 realtors in the whole area. And he did it really, really quick. And it was because he's doing these videos, and he's so good on video. People were watching. That's what's great about video, is when somebody watches you on video, they really get a sense of who you are.
Sure.
And we tell our doctors, the chiropractors we work with, a chiropractor has what's called a day 1 and a day 2. It's kind of their onboarding, if you will, their sales process. Day 1, a patient comes in, they do an exam, maybe x-rays, things like that. Then the doctor will go over all of that stuff. And then the next day they come back in and they do what's called a report of findings. But we tell all the doctors, look, our goal is for when patients start coming in on their day 1, we want them to say, I've been watching all your videos. Like, that's when you're like, what we're doing is working. Now, it's good they're getting new patients in, but when somebody says, I've been watching all your videos, I went to an event several years ago. Now, we've been serving chiropractors for 11 years, so I've been doing this for a minute, but probably 18 months to 2 years into doing it, we had a podcast we were doing, and I went to an event, and I was speaking to the president of one of the big chiropractic associations. And it was kind of like in a break, and we're standing off to the side, and he and I are talking, and somebody comes up, and several people had, wanted to shake this guy's hand. And this one guy came up, and, I kind of stood aside and said, oh, excuse me. He goes, no, actually, Billy, I just wanted to shake your hand. I've been listening to your podcast. I feel like I know you. And it was kind of the first time that had ever happened. And I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. And now when I go to events, it's pretty common for people to say, hey, you mind if I get a picture? And I know this sounds really weird, and I'm not trying to sound like I'm all that, but because I've become really well known in our profession, it just happens. People know me, they like me, they trust me. But a lot of that is because I've done tons and tons and tons of content over the past several years. I speak at all these events. So that's the great thing about, which we don't do a lot on YouTube, but we do a lot on Facebook, Instagram, stuff like that. But when you're getting video content, like what I was saying, what Jeff did with, life in Mobile or living in Mobile, when people watch those, they're like, this is a pretty cool guy. He's a realtor. Let's call him. And that's really what he did to build his business. But it goes back into getting known, building trust, getting found. Like, he did all that with his YouTube channel.
That's awesome. Yeah, that makes a lot. I've seen more and more people that they're not doing, especially realtors, are having a lot of success with that kind of stuff. And it's not necessarily, hey, how to, be a millionaire in real estate in 10 easy steps. They're just real everyday 30-second, 3-minute, 10-minute videos. So you're right. Those are hard to do. I don't know.
Christine Leavenworth is doing here in town. You seen that, Dan?
What is it?
Christina Leavenworth. She's doing a lot of that here in Pensacola.
Oh yeah. Well, Christina looks good on camera though.
But
I get on camera and people go, "Oh, this is a GoFundMe for his surgery coming up."
To be better looking. But it goes. Your question about AEO goes back to exactly what Billy was talking about. It's the build trust, get known, and get found. And like you were saying, Billy, when we were at the Perry Belcher event, he's talking about building hundreds, if not thousands, of back pages. It's not even for really the people to see. It's for the AEO to find all that to find on these websites. And then so it has all this content so that the AI is serving you up because you have so much content that you've built on these subjects.
Yeah, the programmatic.
Programmatic search engine.
Yeah.
And then going back to what Billy was saying earlier, just find those pain points in your industries.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, you already got ChatGPT. If you don't know those pains, just ChatGPT it, find all those pain points, and then start writing content related to those pain points. And I'm pretty sure just that alone will just help you with the AEO portion of it right there, and just finding someone that likes and trusts you for sure. Mustafa? Sure.
Okay, so I have a question. Hey Billy. So the
Hello.
question is, every business owner, they have this one question, or whenever we talk about building trust, because it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, it takes a lot of patience and investment, of course. At what point, this is the question I get, at what point, Mustafa, should we stop and figure out that this strategy is not working? Should we make videos endlessly for the next 10 years, or should we be writing blog content for the next 10 years and hope and pray someone is going to look up into it? When do we take 2 steps back, analyze what we've been doing, if it's working out or not, or should we double down our efforts? So what do you say about like that, to those questions?
It is a great question. And I think when it comes to doing content, my thought is it's not about what is this costing me. It's how is this serving the people I want to serve? Because content that we tend to do is, I want it to be valuable, even if nobody ever does business with us. Like, I want them to listen to something I say and it either motivate them to take action or show them exactly what steps they can go do to do it on their own. Hopefully they're going to go, wow, that was really good. I like that guy. Let me just pay him to do it for us, because obviously they know what they're doing. Like, that's the end goal. I would love that. But I think if a business owner is, okay, I'm going to do this for a little bit, but if it's not working, I don't know. I guess it would just depend, because you do want to be able to track to make sure that this is working. But if you're not doing it, like, there's probably somebody else out there in your niche that is. And that's my thing. It's like, look, there's a lot of good people that do what I do. And even whenever we have clients call us, like, yeah, well, I worked with all these other agencies and they all sucked. Well, hang on. I know those other agencies. They don't all suck. You know, no, there's some good people out there. But I guess what I would tell them is, like, it's cost of doing business, right? We all want to do less and make more. And I do think AI is going to help with that. You know, eventually it's going to help. Even some of the stuff that Hey Jen, like, they've even released some new stuff lately. But you still can't use AI to do video content. Like, clients would love to just make one AI avatar, they never have to do another video content, and just you take it. So what we started telling clients to do is give us a bank of B-roll video. So we do tons and tons of B-roll video. Even when I was, we were in, in Austria last week. We're walking down this, if you've been to Europe, just these cool little alleys and all these little stores and restaurants and stuff. And I noticed my wife's not next to me. I turn around and she's behind me. She goes, B-roll. She's just getting B-roll with me, walking through town. But it's because we do that in a lot of places we go. We're always getting B-roll.
Because even on your anniversary, you're working.
Yeah. Well, and it's a tax write-off, right?
Yeah.
But that's one thing when it comes to content. B-roll is great because now I can reuse that B-roll over and over again with different text, with different voiceovers, with different, like, it's just, it could be repurposed, and I don't have to do it. I can have my team take all the different B-roll I have and just create weekly content just based on the B-roll that I have. So there's some things like that we try to do. But the reason people say that is they're like, I don't want to invest the time to do it. And you know what? If it's not working, I wouldn't either. But you never know what's the one person, right? We had a client had 10 offices, and he's in Florida. He has 10 locations. And when he signed up for Facebook ads with us, he's like, I only want to sign up for one office, but I want you to advertise for all 10. And it's like, well, hang on. And he's like, look, I have one person, like all the leads come to one person anyway. She gets them scheduled with all the different offices. So I was like, okay, we went ahead and just signed up the one office, even though he had 10 locations. When I did that video, I talked about earlier, the 12 ways to get new patients without using Facebook. During the presentation, he's messaging in the chat, can we hop on a call? Well, there was a lot of people on the call. I didn't even recognize his name. I didn't know who he was. But right afterwards, one of the guys on my sales team said, hey, Steven's wanting to see if you can hop on a call. So we go ahead and hop on a call, and it was this guy that had the 10 locations. He's like, this is exactly what I want. I want to sign up for local SEO, regular SEO, a new website, like all these other services for all 10 locations.
Wow. That's
And
awesome.
so, yeah, so it went from this $800 a month to a $20,000 a month account from one piece of content I did. Right? I mean, think about that. One piece of content, that's, as long as he stays with us a year, that's almost $250,000 a year. Because I did one piece of content and one person watched it. Now, more than that watched it, right? But my point in saying that is you never know who that one person is. When we first started Chiro Candy, I didn't know how we were going to make money. It started off as a podcast. And I used to work in office for a chiropractor. I was the marketer. We had 2 locations. I was really good at it. We doubled the volume in both locations. And I just thought, I'm going to do a podcast and teach people what we were doing. So I started this podcast, and we were also helping a few chiropractors write books. That was kind of what we were doing. So I did a webinar. The first webinar I did when I had Chiro Candy was how to write a book. And had a handful of people sign up for it, sign up for the training. And then one person sent me a message. He goes, hey, I watched about half the replay. I get it. You know what you're doing. How much would it cost for me to write a book? So I gave him the price. Done. Send me the link. He pays. Well, then we do a book, and he's like, hey, can you help me do Facebook ads? I'd never done Facebook ads before. I say, okay, yeah. So tell you what, I won't even charge you the first month. Let's just see how well it works. Well, it worked extremely well. He started referring people to us. He referred probably 8 to 10 people the first 3 to 4 months. And then we went on to becoming a Facebook ad agency. And we've done, over 8 figures of revenue and stuff because this one person saw one training I did, referred people to us. Like you never know who that one person is that's going to watch that training, that's going to open up that next door for you. You just don't know. So that's a very long answer to your question, but you just do the content. Why not?
Yes. So what I understand with all of that was that there's a saying that we have that when you keep on investing in your business, be it money, be it time, be it your whatever you're investing in it, at the end of the day, even if it's not selling or it's not performing, you just think to yourself, that's the cost of business and it's going to pay out. So you just have to keep doing it. That is what business is, isn't it?
I think so. And it's sowing and reaping, right? It's like you're putting in the reps. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. The more pieces of content that are out there, that's the more little pieces of real estate. It's more hooks in the pond, right? It's more opportunities you have to catch some fish, just the more things you're doing. And why not? Right? What else are you going to do? Go watch Netflix?
Yeah.
I mean,
one thing I wanted to bring up is I have a content creator I watch for many years now, and he told us straight up he made a video once a day for years and years and years, and For over a year and a half, he would keep making these videos and never got any interactions, maybe 10, 12 impressions. Then one day, year and a half later, after making over 400 pieces of content, he finally got some shares and engagement. And finally, after that, it just started rolling. So you never know. You might not get all those impressions, those clicks, those business from those videos until that one day where it just skyrockets, and then it just starts blowing up to everyone else too. So,
And every person has their own story, right? It's like you don't know. Okay, one of the things we do when we travel, especially like out of the country, my wife wants to buy a piece of jewelry, and it's like she wants it, she just wants a nice piece of jewelry.
Yeah.
Anywhere we go. And so we're in, I think, Salzburg, Austria, and we're looking at this really nice place, like looking window shopping at this place. They had, is it Patek, like the watches that are like $100,000. They had some of those in the window and all this other stuff. But she's looking for either some earrings or necklace or something. I don't know. But we looked outside, and then we opened the door, and they just treated us really awkward. They're like, yeah, like, can we help you? Like, you're bothering us. Like, look, most of our stuff you can just see from outside. It's displayed in the window. They were just really rude. And it was kind of offensive. And I was like, you know what? First off, if an American, like if somebody's traveling to Europe on a vacation, you shouldn't just assume that they're wasting your time. Like, they should have treated us like we had 50 grand to spend. You just don't know. And I don't know if that's even making sense to this. Every person that watches that piece of content, I'm a little bit embarrassed to say this. If you looked up Cairo Candy on YouTube and you looked at some of our recent videos, they don't get any views. Like our podcast we put on there also. Now, we may get 200 or 300 downloads on Spotify and Apple and stuff like that on audio, but on YouTube, we may get 10 views. Like, it's nothing. But you would have no idea that we still do multiple 7 figures a year in revenue, even though we don't get any views on YouTube. But every one of those people that watch, it's a real person with a real business, with real needs, with real problems, and you just don't know which one of those is going to be the one that really helps turn your business around.
Sean, I think you came at the right point when you did, because as soon as they started talking about video content, I was like thinking about you the whole time. It's like all the mechanics you've been helping lately, and I'm seeing all your videos. So I'm trying to give those pain points, show that story and everything.
Yeah, this is my party. I'm so glad something told me to check my email and therefore really preaching the gospel. But if you're not producing, you're consuming. So people want.
That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know everything that you're saying. It's what I'm preaching over in the automotive industry. But like you said with the AI thing, just to kind of, I guess, bring emphasis to it, it's bringing more of an asset to content of real people that say and that say because everything has a mirage of perfection, which is not a reality, even though we think it is based on our algorithms. The people want to resonate with you even more because they know that you're a real person, and if you do mess up, that makes them want to even. It, like you're saying, Bill, like when people meet you at the conference, which I'm excited to jump into that avenue for my industries that I'm serving for blue collar, is they verify like Billy's a real person. He is who he say he was. He's not necessarily a mirage of being somebody that he's not. But no, this is
Yeah, it's so cool. Going back to the AI stuff, I was listening to some training on our flight over there, and it was so good. I was taking so many notes, and everybody's afraid AI is going to take their job. And this guy said this. He said, you know what? We all come from a long line of generational people whose jobs were automated away. They were farmers, they were whatever. And you know what? That's now automated. And every single time it has made our economy stronger. And it may have gotten rid of some jobs, but it also provided a lot more jobs. And what we've been telling our team at Cairo Candy is when we started introducing a lot of AI stuff, I was like, guys, you have to buy in. Like, I don't want to let anybody go. My job, like my goal, is for you to be able to use AI. And instead of, handling 30 accounts, you can now handle 90 accounts. And you're going to get paid a lot more. I'm not having to hire more people. It's just expanding your capacity, right? It's making you be able to handle a lot more, getting your work done, or keep the same amount of accounts that you have and just work less. I'm okay with that too. But the ones who don't buy into AI are the ones that will eventually be replaced or let go. Like, I think even right now, my youngest son is 19. My older two kids both went to college, both have degrees, both worked for us. One of them worked for us for a long time, then started his own marketing company. My daughter, her and her husband both worked for us. They're in their mid-20s. And then my youngest son's 19. He started working for us when he was 13, doing Google ads. But he now runs our AI department, and he's really, really good. But if I'm talking to my niece or my nephew who's going to college, and it is kind of neat because a lot of them ask me for advice, for business and all this stuff, to embrace AI. Like, the more, if I'm hiring two different people for media buying, and one of them has no really skills with AI, and the other one does, I'm going to hire the one that does, because they're going to be able to do so much more. They're going to bring so much more value to my company, even though I'm hiring for a media buyer. Does that make sense? Like, it's going to magnify your value the more you understand how to use AI. So I don't think we should be scared of it. Well, you just need to buy in. It's not going away. It's not going away.
Well, thank you so much, Billy, for taking your time and
Of
speaking
course.
with us. Before I end this meeting, does anyone have any other questions, last minute comments or anything? All right. Well,
Good job. Excellent.
yes,
Thank you very much.
awesome job. Thank you
Oh,
so
of
much,
course.
Billy.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
Before I let you go, would you like to tell them how they can, if they want to get in contact with you, or any references that you want to give to reach out if they have any other questions?
Yeah, sure. I'm probably most active on Facebook and Instagram. So just look at Billy Sticker on either one of those. My book, The Blessed Entrepreneur, you can get it for 99 cents on Kindle, on Amazon. I love that book, not just because I wrote it. I have a message to the church, and we didn't talk about this, so I hope this is okay. Not at all to be preachy, but I feel that God is waiting for people that are willing to be faithful with their finances, that he can just download business ideas to, there's a lot of people that try to reach the marketplace for God. I kind of want to reach the church for business. It's like, hey, the kingdom needs finances to grow and to do all these great things. So that's what the book's about. First half of the book is really kind of permission to prosper. Then the second half of the book goes over what I call the P5 formula, which is how to launch and grow any business. What problem do you solve? What's your product that you're going to use to solve that problem? What's your plan? How do you get proof? And then how do you promote it? All that kind of wrapped up in there. But I really do think it's a good book, and you can pick it up for only 99 cents. And if you do, please write me a review.
And I can personally endorse it. I've read it, and it's a quick read. You don't want to put it down, and it's a great book. And I agree with it 100%.
Yes, I've gotten a copy of myself, and I absolutely love that book. So I would highly agree. But thank you so much, Billy, and
Thank you.
Appreciate everyone hopping on. If you do have any other questions, like he said, you could always reach out to him through Facebook and Instagram. If you do have any questions for us, Feel free to reach us at support@overpowermarketing.com. We'll be glad to help you any way we can. And thank you so much for joining. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks.